What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Game Week 28 deadline live stream. Obviously, blank Game Week 28, so we do have a bit to discuss in this deadline stream. We're going to be going through my transfer plans, and as you can see already on screen, I've already made one transfer, which was taking out Erling Haaland and bringing in Ollie Watkins ahead of his fixture at home to Bournemouth, and then his double game week against Chelsea and Leicester. So that was a transfer I made today. It was always going to be a transfer I was going to make as well. The other options I did briefly consider was Iheanacho and Havertz, but I think Watkins is just the best option out of those three, with a very good fixture this week and then an okay double game week next week. And obviously I see some people debate it whether or not to take out Haaland. In my opinion, I was always going to take out Haaland this week, because he blanks this week and then he plays into Liverpool next week. Now, obviously, Liverpool's defensive form has been shocking this season. And it's not the Liverpool team that we know. So I can understand the argument to want to have Haaland for that Liverpool game, but I think taking Haaland out this week and then bringing in Watkins for this fixture and then a double game week next week, so that's 3 fixtures in the space of time that Haaland has won. I think that's just a smart move to make, and that's why I've made that move going into game week 28. And it also means I have one free transfer left to use if I wish this week. What's good, Brian? Nice to see you in the stream. You're on a wild card. What's your wild card team looking like? What is your wild card team looking like? Wildcard 28, that's interesting. I'd love to know what a wildcard team looks like for 28, because I haven't even considered what a team like that would look like. Because obviously I wildcard in game week 26. But yeah, as you can see on screen, I'm currently fielding 10 players, and it will remain 10 players even if I do make my transfer that I'm debating whether or not to make. So that kind of gives you a clue of where I'll be looking to make the transfer. It could be a slight knee-jerk reaction. I'm not entirely 100% set on it yet, but based off the data from FPL Review and other websites and kind of my initial plan prior to this week, if I do make this move this week, it probably could save me or get me a few extra points. Instead of waiting until next week to make the move. So we're going to be discussing who I'm looking at bringing out and taking in soon. But at the minute, this is how my team looks. So we have Kepa in nets with a good fixture against Everton at home. Then we have Botman, Pinnock, Zinchenko and Trippier. Back 4, solid. Nice back 4 for this week. Hopefully get a clean sheet in both the Arsenal game and the Newcastle game. That's what we want to see. And then in the midfield, we only have 2 players starting this week. In the midfield, we have Saka, who's currently my captain, and then we have Maddison with a good fixture against Brentford away. Obviously March is starting there, but he is blanking this week, so nothing to worry about there. He's going to stay on my team, not getting rid of him anytime soon. And then the front line, we have Kane, Watkins and Tony, with arguably all good fixtures. Kane, solid fixture against Southampton, the weakest defence in the league in my opinion. Watkins with a great fixture at home to Bournemouth, and then Tony with another good fixture at home to Leicester. With, in my opinion, all 3 could return this week, and I'm hoping all 3 return. And this is probably Tony's last or second last week of my team as well, so any points I can get from him now before I take him out will definitely welcomed. Brian's put his wildcard team in the chat. He says Kepa, Steele, Botman, Trippier, James, Chilwell, Gabriel, Saka, Rashford, Matoma, March, Maddison, Kane, Isaac, Watkins. So how many players do you have playing this week then? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do you have 11 players playing this week? Maybe not. 11, I think. James is up for debate, and Isaac over Tony is the punt. Can't play a wildcard without a punt. Yeah, no, I'm a fan of that Isaac over Tony, especially with Almiron now being injured, because I think that pretty much nails Isaac to play this week with Almiron being out injured for 4 weeks. Isaac or Watkins, I'm surprised to see when no one considering Isaac, but I'm really considering him as now Wilson is injured. He will be started every game and on pit. That's funny because that's literally what we've just been discussing there. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I think it's very much prior to Wilson and Almiron being both injured, I would have gone Watkins 100%. But now I think it's very, very even. Although I do like, and I think the Nottingham Forest defence is quite strong in my opinion. And it's a really tough one actually. It is a tough one. I don't know. I think that's almost a coin flip. But if we look at form, I think if we wanted to base it off form, I mean Watkins' form is incredible, really. I mean he's returned, blanked, returned, blanked, returned. You know, he didn't play there, so returned. You know, I mean he's in incredible form, and he's also on penalties himself. So I really don't know. I'd be interested to see what Brian. Well, obviously Brian's gone for Isaac over Tony, so he is a fan of Isaac, and I have been a fan of Isaac myself. But that Bournemouth fixture at home, I think, is a great fixture for Watkins. Although see, and even the double game week's pretty even, I think, because Chelsea is a difficult game, whereas Leicester's pretty alright, and Man United's a tough one, but West Ham should be a nice one. So it depends really. It depends how long you're going to hold them for as well, in my opinion. But I honestly am not sure. 11 and 11 double next game week. That's nice. Yeah, having 11 this week I think will be big. It's the punt. Tony has template, so it's just looking at the gain. Yeah, it's always good to try and look at the gain wherever you can, and you know, sometimes it's good not to chase, you know, not to over chase the punt, you know, but take calculated risks, I suppose. Yeah, I would agree, Anthony. I think the games they have are the same pretty much. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, if we were talking about expected minutes, I mean, we would put Watkins definitely ahead of Isaac, although that may slightly change now that Wilson and Almiron are injured. But with the other thing to consider is the international break is next week, so that's 2 weeks that there'll be no football. So if we take that in consideration, say Almiron's injured for 4 weeks, he's actually injured for 2 weeks, he's not playing this week, so you know, I don't know how nailed and for how long Isaac will be. I think for this week he's definitely nailed, and probably the double game week he'll be nailed. But it is ever so slightly more of a risk than going for Watkins. That's how I see it. Yeah, I'm like, for somebody on a wild card, Watkins is a must-own. I don't think that's up for debate. Yep, Tony is on a yellow too, and obviously the betting, the upcoming betting suspension is just probably around the corner. So I'm thinking of getting rid of Tony in game week 29. Or no, sorry, game week 30 is when I'm getting rid of Tony to bring in Haaland. My initial plan was to actually do Haaland to Watkins this week, and then to have 2 free transfers in game week 29 and bring in Fernandes and bring in Shaw, I think. Bring Saka out and bring Fernandes in, and then get Haaland back in game week 30, but I don't have enough funds to do that, so it looks like I'm going to be going game week 29 without Fernandes, which I'm not overly scared about anymore, because with Casemiro being out, Fernandes does play, you know, a lot deeper, which hinders him a bit. Isaac is clinical. Like, Isaac is a clinical player. I was actually surprised that he hasn't been given more minutes, you know, even without the injuries. You know, just in general week in and week out, in my opinion, I think he deserves more minutes. But yeah, it's definitely a tough one. It's going to be one of those weeks which, with like whoever you go for, is going to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's going to be game week of small margins, I think, because of so many blank fixtures. I'm a Newcastle fan. I have a season ticket. Isaac is a heck of a player to watch in person. We get loads of chances to haven't had the player to score them, but Isaac is that player. See, Anthony, if then I would go for him. I mean, go for your heart in that sense. You know, it could be a fun punt, and if it pays off, I mean, that's even better. Because I really don't think there's much in it anymore. So if you just want to try and go for Isaac, go for the higher upside as well in terms of ownership, then I definitely think it's worth a punt, and if it pays off, then it'll feel even better. So yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't go for it, because as I said, the margins between the two options isn't that big anymore with Wilson and Almiron being injured. So I would go for it. What's the worst that can happen as well? Like, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna come back to absolutely ruin you. So. Oh. Chilwell or Trippier could be a great captain. Yep. No problem, Anthony. Good luck this game week, brother. Hope all goes well, and hopefully Isaac returns for you. Yeah, Brian, that's funny because I suppose we could discuss it now, but I'm not sure, but I'm considering going Pinnock to Chilwell for this week instead of waiting until next week to do Pinnock to Chilwell. Now, it's slightly knee-jerky, and even as a Chelsea fan myself, I'm not 100% sure on it. Obviously, it would mean that I'm taking out a player with a fixture to bring in a player with a fixture in a blank game week. So that's what it's obviously not something you ideally want to do, but I've looked at the data and I would gain points based off the data if I was to make this move this week instead of waiting until next week to make it. So I'd be making the move 1 week early. Also, Everton at home is in a fantastic fixture for Chelsea. Sean Dyche will probably just park the bus, and it should be one of the easier clean sheets for Chelsea this season. But I'm just still not sure if I want to do it or not. There is an argument that could be made to bring out Estepinha and bring in Chilwell, and that would actually give me 11 players for this week. But I just think the Brighton defence is a lot better than the Brentford defence, and I would not be a fan of taking out Estepinha ahead of Brentford and Bournemouth next week. It doesn't sit right with me doing that, whereas taking out Pinnock it's something that I could deal with better. Now the question is, do I captain Isaac? I don't know about that one. This is actually a good opportunity to look at the predicted points for game week 28. So if we take a look at the predicted points, we can see that Saka is on top of the predicted points with 6.21, with Arsenal facing off against Crystal Palace at home. Obviously, Crystal Palace did just sack Patrick Vieira this morning, so if you believe in the no manager or new manager bounce, then it may be something you want to avoid. My armband for my team is currently on Saka this week, although I am considering Kane, but I'm still not 100% sure. Rory says, I've already moved Pinnock out. I just feel we have a much better chance at a clean sheet. Yeah, I would agree, Rory. But as Brian says, moving a player out who has a fixture is never something you want to do. But I just see Leicester scoring. Leicester scored against Chelsea. Iheanacho is a really good player. Maddison is a great player. Lots of chances. Josh has his armband on Kane. See, that's an interesting one. As we can see from the predicted points, Kane is predicted 5.26 points, which is 1 point less than Saka, which is interesting. I thought Kane would be a lot higher than 5.26 in my opinion. And I'm not sure, I don't know what the split's going to be like this week in terms of captaincy, but I probably think Saka will be the main man with the armband. Although I'd be interested to hear, Josh, why you captained Kane. Like, what was it that kind of made you go for Kane over somebody like Saka or even Tony? Because if I was ranking my options in a minute, it would probably go Saka number 1, Kane number 2, Tony number 3, and then Watkins number 4 as a captaincy option. Reece James is also second there with also the second player on the list with 6 points. James is obviously just a risk to go for, in my opinion, because you know he always gets affected by injury somehow, and you'd have to hope and pray that he gets 60 minutes. Whereas if you go for Chilwell, he's pretty much guaranteed 60 minutes. A lot lower ownership, and he always seems to be involved in Chelsea's chances at the minute. Actually, a lot more than James, which is surprising because usually it's the other way around. But the system at the minute seems to benefit Chilwell a lot more than it benefits Reece. So Josh's team is Raya, Trippier, Chilwell, Botman, Cash, Henry, Rashford, Maddison, Tony, Watkins, Keane, bench Ward, Matoma, McAllister, March, and I did Maddison to sell it last week 105. Oh yeah, I got the same actually points last week, 105. My differential, Brian says the differential shout for this week, or for the next 3 fixtures, is Uttara, who plays this week, and a good double. Yeah. See, Josh, Kane average versus Southampton always good, and I feel the curse of new manager or assistant as manager will come and hunt Arsenal. It always happens. Do you think Crystal Palace look bad versus Brighton or Man City? I reckon Arsenal 1-0 Martinelli goal. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a low scoring game. And Saka's been very frustrating to own recently. You know, like Arsenal have been scoring goals, but Saka just hasn't been involved in any of the goals scored, which is extremely frustrating. And I actually said this in my team selection video recently, that going for Saka on my wildcard instead of somebody like Odegaard or Martinelli was probably my one mistake I made in the wildcard. Because Martinelli and Odegaard have just performed so well, whereas Saka's just blanked since game week 26, which is extremely frustrating as an owner. Plan 29, Tony to Ian Atchell for 14 double on bench boost with Kane as only single. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many players I'm going to have. I think I'm going to have 13 with bench boost in game week 29, all with a double. I think so anyway. I think, yeah, Kane and Saka will be my only single game week players. Yeah, see, having triple Brighton mids, that is nice. It definitely is nice. I just went for two. I went for March and Matoma. And what's funny is, in the previous stream, I actually captained Matoma, forgot to click save team, but so then it actually stayed on Tony, and Tony actually outscored the rest of them, so it actually worked out really well, thankfully. I got a bit of luck last week. But is there any other shouts on? Martinelli's also up there in the teams, or the predicted points. Trossard as well. Zinchenko, who's in my team, although I think there is shouts that he may have a slight injury or a slight knock, so you know, not sure on that. Watkins also up there, which is good to see. Watkins actually higher than Kane on the predicted points, which is interesting. I mean, that's very interesting. You know, I think it's been quite harsh on Kane this week, in my opinion, because Southampton are a shocking team to play, even though, you know, they're at home. I just think Spurs will run through them, hopefully. So yeah. Wait, I should change that because I only have one free transfer now, because I have made my move with Haaland to Watkins. George says Southampton have kept one clean sheet all season at home. Captain Kane for me. Good argument, to be fair. Josh says he took a punt with triple Brighton. Midfield paid off. March over sack, Chilwell over. Yeah, I mean, that is. I think you got slightly lucky there, Josh, if I'm being honest. Like, that March over sack is a big shout, but it paid off, so you know, I have to respect it. Brian says he swapped Botman for Shar in my wildcard. Shar is fit apparently. Okay. Yeah, we discussed Isaac earlier in the stream, Josh, and I think the question was Watkins or Isaac, and I think they're both very close options this week, especially with Almiron and Wilson being injured. That's some good ranks, Josh. What rank am I at the minute? Yeah, 174k. I had a green arrow of about 100k last week. So I got very lucky last week. It felt good after a series of red arrows. I was up around 50k at one point in this season, and then just took red arrow after red arrow, unfortunately. Yeah, that whole March debate, I completely agree with you. I mean, it is ridiculous, some of the rules. So it is. I mean, I just don't know how they can't change it, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Let's have a look at the goal score odds for this week. And as you can see, even though he is on the bottom of the list for the predicted points, we have Kane with 40.5% chance of scoring, and it's the highest predicted goal scorer for this week. Followed closely behind by Tony, and then Wilson, who is now injured. And Watkins also up there. So the top three is my front forward line with Kane, Tony and Wilson. Or sorry, Kane, Tony and Watkins in the top three. Jesus, who was obviously back playing for Arsenal last night. I think he started Arsenal's game last night in the Europa League. 34% chance of scoring. And then Isaac with a 32.5% chance. Havertz also up there, who was a good option this week if you're looking to replace Haaland. What's good, Keelan? Nice to see you in the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Josh says his best ever was 225. 225 is that's really good going, to be fair. Yeah, Maddison Haaland coming 100%. I've backed Maddison since my Gameweek 26 wildcard, and the haul is due. I'm also considering captain him next week in the double game week. I just think he's been in really good form recently. Like, he's been playing well even though he hasn't got returns, and I think he's gonna, it's gonna pay off soon, whether it's this week or next week. Quite a few Chelsea players in the list this week, with Havertz, Felix and Sterling all in the goal score odds, which is interesting because Chelsea usually can't score many goals, but hey ho. Saka also up there with 31% chance of scoring at any point, and Trossard comes up last with 29% of scoring. So from Kane, Watkins and Tony owners' point of view, it seems pretty good based on the data for me this week, but obviously the data doesn't always equal success. Keelan says we have the exact same team apart from Kepa. Appreciate that, Josh. Thank you for the sub. I'm going to have to check out your stream and your content once I finish. Appreciate you stopping by and being in the stream. Yeah, Sterling has been ruled out, that's true. I forgot about that. Sterling is out for the Chelsea game, and he's in a void anyway, in my opinion. Hopefully we see Mudryk play this week. I'd love to see Mudryk get minutes. As captain and Tony, Southampton, Palace haven't been conceded much, and Kane plays away from home. That's a big shout, Keelan, and he's probably third on my captaincy option this week, with Saka and Kane ahead of Tony for captaincy. Josh, I am a Chelsea fan, so I am a proud Chelsea fan. Have been a Chelsea fan all my life, so that's all I know. So I would like to say I have a pretty good opinion on Chelsea players and whether to go for Chelsea players or not. But I am considering bringing in Chilwell this week. I'm about 80% sure I will bring him in before the deadline, which there's only 80 minutes until. So I'm considering bringing in Chilwell. Josh says he thinks Iheanacho's been very good and overlooked. I think 29 will be like 3% owned. He's 1.5 at the minute. I see him doing bits. Yeah, that's the thing with Leicester. I think Leicester have been incredibly unlucky in their previous games. I mean, they haven't been terrible. Like, they really haven't. They concede a lot of goals, but they also look dangerous going forward. So I think we just need that 1 week where the chances finally return into points. True, I'm not. I could never be a Spurs fan. I think we all hate Tottenham. Yeah, that Salah penalty, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was a blessing in disguise last week. I think a lot of managers got really lucky last week with Salah missing that penalty. You would have 113 points. That is unbelievable. You benched him last minute for Salah. Oh my god, that's so unfortunate. I mean, who would have predicted that Salah would have missed a penalty? Like, really? I don't think anybody could have predicted that. Brian says Kane is a top pick for captain. Yeah, he definitely is. It's tough because Saka hasn't been playing great, but he's playing against Palace, who are extremely poor. They're playing at the Emirates. Arsenal don't have a manager. Palace don't have a manager. And if Arsenal get a clean sheet, you get that extra 2 points if you captain Saka. Whereas Kane is just Kane, and he's always involved in every single goal Spurs score. So it's a tough one. It's almost a coin toss this week. But I'm still not decided on who I want to bring in. Keelan says sell Haaland for Watkins or Trent for Chilwell. Kind of want to keep Trent for double and give me 2 weeks off. Maybe he'll come. I would sell Haaland for Watkins. 100%. I would sell Haaland for Watkins. That's the move I've made this week. I sold Haaland for Watkins. Josh says I captained Salah in game week 26, not 27. I mean, that is a nightmare. If you had captained him in game week 27, you would have been like, I don't even know where you'd be now, like top 50k or something, maybe more. I don't know. That's super unfortunate though. So is that back to back 100 plus points returns then, Josh? Yeah, that's good going. Yeah, George, I see what you mean, and this is something I've been considering. I've been deciding whether to take out Estepinha or Pinnock to bring in Chilwell. But if I'm being honest, I just much would rather have Estepinha in game week 29 for that double game week than Pinnock. But then there's a risk Estepinha is going to miss one of the games in game week 29 because of the international break. So it's really tough. See, there's arguments for and against. Arguments for and against. Arguments for and against Saka or Kane. Oh yes, wait. Josh said he captained Salah in game week 26. Yes, so you captained him the week he got his massive haul. Yes, I understand now. Yeah, that was the right decision to make. So you captained him. You captained him against Man United. Is that what the game weeks I keep losing the game weeks. So it's hard to follow. But I think you captained him for the Man United game where they scored 7. I think. Best opinion will only start Bournemouth 29. Yeah, I would tend to agree. I don't know what to do. If I get rid of Estepinha, it would give me 11 players this week. If I could 100% say with certainty, why is this not loading? That Estepinha will miss the first Brentford game, then I'd probably get rid of him. Yeah, it's always important to leave your transfers until the last minute, until we get all the information that we can. Yeah, and that's the thing, Brighton are expected to have more doubles after 29 as well. It's really it's a tough one. I'm 100%. I'm not sure on what I'm gonna do, but I do want Chilwell this week, I think. But because if we take a look at the clean sheet odds as well, we can see that Chelsea are second with a 52% chance of keeping a clean sheet, whilst Arsenal are first with a 54.5% chance of keeping out Palace at home. So for those that own Zinchenko or Gabriel, it's looking good for us. Newcastle, yeah. So that's where's Brentford at? Yeah, Brentford 34% chance of keeping a clean sheet. But I expect Leicester to score, so that's why I'm not really worried about taking out Pinnock this week. Josh says Newcastle Brighton double 29-31 and Brighton 34 and 37 most likely. I think you meant Brentford. Newcastle Brentford double 29-31 and Brighton 34 and 37. Or maybe not, wait, I'm confused. Yeah, that's the thing with Zinchenko. Apparently he's carrying a knock or something. It would be classic FPL if he got benched, and I was actually considering taking him out for Chilwell, but I really don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I think that's just too much of a risk in case he does start, because I feel like if he does start, he'll play 60 minutes and bank a clean sheet before getting subbed off like he did last week. So I really don't know. I really don't know what to do. There's only 12 minutes as well until the deadline, so I have to decide quick what I'm going to do. I see a lot of people on Twitter. Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter are going for Kane captain. I don't know what to do, man. Newcastle, Brighton, double 29-31. Brighton 21, yeah. No problem, Omar. I appreciate you stopping by. Good luck for the game week. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's look at my team then. So on paper, I think this team looks nice. Wait, if we move Estepina back down, just so I can. So I am considering bringing out Pinnock and taking in Chilwell. That's my plan at the minute. So let me shift over to transfers. Get a look at the team here. Yeah, I think I might go Kane as well. I think Kane's just safer, and Kane's on penalties, and you know Kane always is involved in every goal Spurs score all the time, whereas Saka just hasn't been involved in any of the goals that Arsenal have scored recently. So if I was to bring Chilwell in this week with a good fixture against Everton at home, it would leave me 4.5 in the bank for the following weeks, and then that would mean I have him for the double next week. And I also, it's a tough one though, but it's not costing me a -4 either, which is important. The Killen says don't listen to Twitter. Captain the main man Tony at home. Leicester worst defence to Southampton penalties. I think a lot of people are ignoring because of a yellow card that won't even matter this week. I mean, I understand your argument, Keelan, but I don't know if it's doing it for me. Like I'd much rather go Kane or Saka than Tony. Yeah, go with your gut, Rory. Then go with your gut. If that was your gut, go with it. I don't really know what my gut is this week either, to be fair. If I'm being completely honest, I think my gut is just wanting to get it right. Hello, Elena. Hope you're having a good day. Nice of you to stop by. Yeah, I think I'm gonna lock this in. I need to back my Chelsea boys. I mean, Everton at Stamford Bridge. If Everton score, I don't know. I'm gonna delete the app. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna lock this in now. Confirm transfers. Come on, please. Don't tell me that. Oh my god. Oh, there we go. I was worried for a second there. I thought the servers have gone down. Oh, it changed. I was worried there. Yeah, Brentford never hammer teams. That's actually so true. So yeah, this is the team locked in, I think. Double Chelsea defense. Oh my god, if Chelsea get their clean sheet wiped, oh, it's going to be the most horrible. Or you can just see Chelsea getting their clean sheet wiped and Brentford keeping a clean sheet against Leicester. That would be peak FPL. Or Pinnock gets a goal or assist or something. How many minutes? We've got 8 minutes until the deadline. What do we do? Do we captain Kane or do we captain Saka? Or do we flip a coin? Should we flip a coin? I swear every stream I just either like flip a coin or get a random computer thing to pick my team. Or pick my captain. Oh, I think based off form, like if we're basing it off form, if we take a look at Saka, blank. So since I brought him in, blank, and like these are times where Arsenal scored 3 goals. Arsenal have scored 6 goals in 2 games and Saka has not been involved in a single goal. Like, you know, I don't know. Flip a coin. I think it's going to have to be flip a coin. I think it's going to have to be flip a coin. Right, this doesn't count. This flip doesn't count. Bring out the wheel. Okay, we'll bring out the wheel because I didn't respect the wheel last week. Wheel picker name or something. Yeah, I didn't respect the... Well, I did respect the wheel last week, but I forgot to save the wheel. Right, so we're going to use the wheel because the wheel is actually never right. How do you even use this? Oh, I don't want some like weird ad to pop up. You know those websites where like the weird ads pop up? That is not what we want to see. Although the wheel of names is not wanting to load for me today. Wheel of names. Why is it taking forever to load? The wheel is also more fun, in my opinion, if it would load. Oh, have we got... Wait, no. The wheel's trolling me today. Maybe this is a sign to not use the wheel. Oh no, here we go. Right. I don't know if you... Oh yeah, you can see it. This is from last week when I used the wheel and then accidentally went against the wheel. What's it telling me? Matoma? Yeah, let's captain Matoma this week. That's a good idea. Right, so we've got Saka or we've got Kane. And I'm going to have to go against Keelan and completely ignore Tony. So, yeah, the wheel is a key part of this deadline stream. So, we've either got Kane or Saka, right? Saka is blue and Kane is red. That's interesting. My prediction before we click the wheel is that I think it's going to pick Saka. I honestly think it's going to pick Saka. Part of me now hopes it picks Kane because I think I want to go with Kane. But I think it's going to pick Saka. So, yeah, I know I previously disrespected the Elena, but it turned out to be wrong anyway. So I did the right thing. It was actually a sign. It was an intervention from above that meant I didn't save my team and thus went against the wheel and thus got more points. So never forget that. Right, I'm going to click this. I know 5 minutes. The thing's going to crash. No, please, no. Oh no. No. Fuck. No. No, why? It picked the one I didn't want it to pick. Oh no. Oh no. No. This is a nightmare. This is that was meant to be the banker. No, I have to trust the wheel though. I didn't trust the wheel last week. I have to trust the wheel. The wheel is like the Bible for this stream now. Bro, why did it pick the one I literally didn't want it to pick? Right, is the team saved? Yeah. I just need to double check. So what have we got? Kevin, Nets, Botman, Chilwell, Zinchenko, Trippier, Saka captain. Oh my, wait, let's make Kane vice captain just cause. Don't say Kane will haul. Do not say that. That's not nice. No, that is not nice to say to a stressed individual. Best of 3. No, we can't do best of 3. It had to be one and done. Can't do best of 3. Okay. Botman, Chilwell, Zinchenko, Trippier, Saka captain, Madison, March, who's blanking, Kane vice captain, Watkins. Yeah, the wheel was wrong last week. So maybe I should do the opposite of the wheel. Yes, I'll do the opposite of the wheel because it was wrong last week because it told me to go for Matoma, I think, and then I accidentally went for Kane, and then, or no, I went for Tony, and Tony ended up outscoring Matoma. Get Michael McIntyre on next time. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm captain Kane because we're going against the wheel. This will be the week that the wheel's right too. Wait, I need to click save team. Yeah, there we go. So we're locked in. Due to advice from the chat, we have gone against the wheel because the wheel lied last week. Keelan is really Keelan. Did Tony pay you to say this Tony propaganda in the chat? I think he might have slipped you a fiver. Right, so we've got Kane captain. I'm much happier with this, to be fair. Just this will be the week Saka does well. I hate weeks like this. Can we not go back to the time when Haaland was just perma captain Like, I don't think we realised how nice of a period in time that was for FPL, where you just didn't even have to worry. The armband just stayed on Haaland, and whatever happened, happened. Like, I hate having to make decisions. Nothing makes me feel warm and fuzzy anymore. Yeah, ignore the wheel. Yeah, I think I'm going to ignore the wheel, because the wheel lied to me last week, and thankfully I went against it, and it paid off. So I think we're locked in now with Keane captain and Saka vice captain. I just want another green arrow. Whatever happens, just even a red or a green arrow of about 5. I'll just take anything at this point. I had a bet with Tony that he'd get a yellow this week. Yeah. When is Tony going to get banned though? That is the question. Surely it's going to be soon, in like the coming weeks. Watch Tony just never get banned, and every week we just have the same discussions about avoid Tony because he's going to get banned. Like, I could actually see that happening. But 1 minute to the deadline, we're locked in. My moves this week were Pinnock to Chilwell and Haaland to Watkins. Pretty happy with them. The only thing I'm worried about is Brentford somehow getting a clean sheet against Leicester, but I really expect Leicester to score. So, yeah, we need a Kane hat-trick. Brian says, I put a super chat earlier in football telling them to raid. Brian, there's no need for that. It's far too kind. I'm just happy that everybody's here enjoying the stream. And hopefully we all have a good game week this week. That's what I want. I want everybody to get a green arrow this week. Well, everybody that's below me can get a green arrow, but the people in front of me, no, don't get a green arrow, please, because I need to catch up after quite a bad few game weeks. So that is us. We are locked in. We are locked in for the game week 28. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Going with Kane captain after to and froing with the wheel. The wheel initially said to go for Saka. We went against the wheel and we've captained Kane this week. So hopefully it pays off. Yeah, see Josh, that is the worry, that Pinnock could just turn around and score. I mean, he got that freak goal against Fulham. So I mean, nothing is impossible this week. But who knows? How many players we have playing this week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've only got 10 players playing this week. But I think that's good enough for me this week. I think most people have 10 players playing this week. Most people that wildcard it in game week 26 anyway do. So yeah, hopefully it's a successful week for all of us. But I really don't know, to be fair. Appreciate that, Josh. Good luck to you as well. Good luck. You deserve more sheep in your flock. I know. I need to start posting more videos. It's just I've been busy. I'm only being able to get one out a week at the minute, which is unfortunate because I would want to be posting more, but sometimes life just gets in the way and we get busy. But I enjoy doing these deadline streams because it's always good to panic prior to the deadline. Good luck, Eunice Fitness. 10 players playing Captain Watkins. Oh, Watkins, that's a good shout. See, Watkins was on third on my list for options this week as captain. Yeah, green arrows all round on Paddy's weekend. Yeah, hopefully the luck of St Patrick and being Irish can help me this week. That's the hope. Is anybody doing anything nice for St Patrick's Day or not? Actually, tomorrow I'm going to the rugby in Dublin, the Ireland-England match, so hopefully that's a good match and hopefully Ireland get the win and get the Grand Slam, and it caps off a good St Patrick's Day weekend. That's the plan anyway, so hopefully all goes well tomorrow, and hopefully I get green arrow at the same time. And I don't know if anybody in the chat is into UFC or MMA, but hopefully I'll be watching the Edwards Kamaru Usman fight, because that's going to be a good one. I reckon Watkins gets 10 points. Yeah, I definitely expect Watkins to return this week. Yeah, you can't beat a bit of egg ball, to be fair. I'm so lucky, says Keelan. Yeah, I'm very lucky. The tickets were very expensive, but hopefully it's going to be worth it. If Ireland win, it'll definitely be worth it. You don't want Ireland to win? That's disgusting. Who do you think's going to win the Edwards or Usman fight? I think it'll be Edwards again. Appreciate you being in the stream, Eunice. I hope I'm saying your name right, brother. Appreciate you being here. What county I'm in County Antrim, so I'm actually up north. I'm in the Feck part of Ireland, unfortunately. I'm in the Feck part of Ireland. Up north in Antrim. Love UFC as well, and Kamara against Edwards. Isn't that a rematch? Yeah, it is a rematch. Yeah, I think it'll be Edwards again as well. I agree, Josh. Edwards is just, there's something about Edwards. I think it'll be a really good fight though. I don't think it'll be over quickly in my opinion. I think it'll go the full distance. Keelan says Usman. I mean, Usman's a good fighter, so. One that is that 15 grand. Yes, trust me, it's a it is difficult to pronounce, but I'm glad I'm getting it right. Although the thing is, the Waterford. I thought you said Watford for a second. Yeah, Waterford. That is far, to be fair. I know, Eunice, that's the thing, like, Usman could come out for revenge. But I don't know, Edwards is going to have the home support, which I think is massive as well. But that, honestly, that is the best thing ever. The fact that it's in London, so the time zone, it doesn't mean the fight's on at like 4 or 5 AM for those in the UK. It's actually at a reasonable time where people can watch it. I think Usman's going to be more nervous though as well, Keelan. But I understand what you're saying, cautious. Like, I think it's going to be cautious and nervous because he knows like what's happened in the past. Yeah, I never bet, Josh. The only betting I do is betting on my Kane captain to return FPL points. That's the only bet I do. I've just never got into betting and just never kind of seen a reason for me to bet, so you know, there's no point if it's not been something I'm interested in. Yeah, my Twitter. Wait, I just actually posted a tweet of my team. I'll put it in the chat if you give me 2 seconds. This is my Twitter, so make sure to follow me. That's when I tweet when I'm going live and when I've posted videos. It takes me about 2.5 hours to get down to Dublin from the north. So the match is at 5, so it's going to be close getting back in time for the fight. But I'm just hoping that each fight before the main event gets delayed or goes to full round, so I get back in time to see it. Willick is starting, is he? Is that confirmed? Has there been new team news just came out? See? I missed something? No. Or maybe you're saying if he's starting. Well, I suppose the deadline's over now, so I don't know. It seems like the entirety of Twitter, apart from Andy Let's Talk FPL, is on Kane Captain. Appreciate it, Dimitri. Thank you. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Killen says the only man he's betting on is Tony. I think Tony would be proud of that as well. Just quickly, if you are new to the stream and you're enjoying it, please do drop a like on the stream, and also please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. I try and upload. Well, I do upload at least one video a week. I try and upload two, depending on how busy I am. But yeah, it's usually quite short content. So if you like that style of content, then please do check out my stuff and let me know what you think. From early leaks, that is a good punt then if he starts. I think it's going to be a good fixture for Newcastle, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a good game. Eunice says he prayed like 10 minutes ago, 2 minutes before the deadline. I went for Watkins, like I said. Hopefully it turned out. I don't think it's a bad shout. I just think the Saka and Kane shout is a slightly better shout, and that's why I went for Kane. But honestly, when I was bringing in Watkins, I was like, part of me wants to captain him. Like, it just does. Did Tony get called up for the England squad? Because I haven't actually seen the England squad, so I'm not fully aware who got called up or not. I know which Chelsea players got called up, but I don't know if Tony got called up. Matoma to Gibbs White, that's actually... That is a good move, well, it's an interesting move. It's definitely not a bad move, I would say. Fogle went Henry and Haaland to Chile and Watkins. Yeah, pretty similar moves to me then. Pinnock to Chilwell and Haaland to Watkins. I think a lot of people did similar moves. I think those moves just made sense. Love for Forrest to get beat 4-0. He did get called up. Fair enough, fair enough. He deserved to get called up, so he did. I mean, Tony deserved to get called up ages ago. I mean, he's always been performing well in the Premier League. That's good though, Eunice. I mean, it's a good punt, and if it pays off, then it's going to feel amazing, to be fair. You'll just have to pray though that Kane doesn't haul. I think that's going to be your main worry, making sure Kane doesn't haul. Botman will score today, you think? I don't know. I'm predicting another Trippier assist, if I'm being honest. I like Nottingham Forest players though as an option. Honestly, I do. Whether it's Brennan Johnson or Gibbs White, I don't know. It just interests me. Probably just as like a fun pick more than anything. You know, but it's hard to say. Who knows what's going to happen at the end of the day? Like, none of us know who's going to score and who's not going to score. We just have to make the best informed decisions as we can. Yeah, see, that's the thing, Keelan, and I understand where you're coming from, but I said this in my team selection video that I'm not judging him just yet, because the reason I brought him in game week 26 was for this week's fixture, the double game week in game week 29, and then the game in game week 30, and that's where I'm going to judge him. And to be fair, at the minute I feel alright about the fact he hasn't returned, because I feel like his time will come in the next few game weeks and it'll pay off. Relegation are doing well since the Arsenal game, so I wouldn't suggest going for him, basically. I mean, I understand that argument, and Bournemouth aren't as bad as they were at the start of the season, but I think our Aston Villa under Emery are just extremely dangerous, and I think they should get past Bournemouth with somewhat of ease. Maybe not complete ease, but you know, a relative ease. That's my hope anyway. I mean, that is my hope. Haaland hat-trick 29 to be annoying, yeah. That's so true. Honestly, that is so true. See, that's the thing. I worry that Liverpool will just like bend over, to put it crudely, for City, and Haaland will just do Haaland things. It's so funny how everything changes in FPL though, because say at the start of the season when City had been playing Liverpool. You know, Haaland would have been captain. He just would have been captain. But now that he's slowed down and not continued the way that we saw at the start of the season, we're now even taking him out and not going with him against Liverpool, you know, when he has a fixture against Liverpool, which is so interesting, and it shows how quickly the FPL situation can change. Literally from week to week, a player is a good option and then a bad option. Yeah, Eunice, I mean, you just got to use your best judgment at the end of the day, and you know, we can never guarantee what would actually happen. Everyone's 5-back start season. I never was. I can't remember what I was at the start of the season. Let me see. That's actually interesting. Let me see. I'll have to go back quite a while. Oh, the game's updating. I completely forgot the game's updating. So we've also lost the team for this week. I can't remember. I think I was maybe on a 3 at the back. Or no. No, what was I on? Yeah, I think I was 3-4-3 formation at the start of the season. I've always been lining up with 3 attackers this week, or not this week, but this season. I've always had the 3 attackers, which I think's worked pretty well for me. I'm from Ireland, Eunice. I'm from the north of Ireland. Where are you from? Josh says he went Haaland 29, but it's 20 to him, Maria and Acho. Or he wants 20 or Haaland in 29, but it's 20 to him. I would go 20 to Haaland. FPL.team, is that what it is? I don't know, can you? I don't even know. I don't even know if I have a sign in for this. Oh, it doesn't matter. I was thinking it was 3 at the back anyway. From memory. Relegation top 4 predictions right now. Let me find the table. They get the Premier League table up. I don't know off the top of my head what we're looking at here. Tables. North Africa and Algeria, that's crazy. How did you find my stream? That's what I always find interesting, how people find stream. So at the minute we have wait, I'm gonna go yeah, this is fine actually, because we can see the table here. Obviously we can't see points, but it doesn't matter really. Actually no, we'll go full screen for this. We'll go full screen. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. This is it. Yeah. So Arsenal are by the way, my prediction is that Arsenal will not win the Premier League. I'm telling you now, Josh has already gone for Arsenal first. Arsenal won't win the Premier League. Liverpool 6th. I'm going Man City first, Arsenal 2nd, Man United 3rd, Liverpool 4th, Tottenham 5th, Newcastle 6th, Chelsea 7th. That's pretty cool, Eunice. I'm glad it popped up in your suggestions, to be fair. I like hearing that. So who did I have there? I had Man City, I had Arsenal, I had United, I had Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle and Chelsea. Chelsea 7th. No, I don't have that strong of an accent, to be fair. Well, my accent's maybe quite Scottish, like, you know, Ulster Scots. So I often get mistaken for being Scottish, because, you know, those in the north usually have quite an Ulster Scots accent. But if we look at I think this is going to be one of the best weeks ever for the or best seasons ever for the relegation battle, because from 15th to 20th there's 3 points separating it, and from 12th to 20th there's only 5 points separating. So literally any of these teams from 12 downwards could all get relegated this season. No, I'm telling you, Brighton don't have that smoke. They don't have the smoke. They're going to fall off 100%. God, you did well, Josh. That's good play there. Keep it up. Yeah, Brighton 8th. Yeah, Chelsea are going to finish above Brighton, trust me. Potter and his merry men are going to have a comeback. Like, if Chelsea win this week and Fulham lose, Chelsea are already up to 9th. You know, like, all Chelsea need is a run of a couple wins, and they could be right up where Liverpool or Brighton are at the minute. I'm telling you that now. But if I was predicting a bottom 3 that are going to get relegated, that's a tough one. I would definitely put Southampton in there. I would definitely put Leeds in there. Leeds, I don't know. It's either going to be Everton, Leeds and Southampton, or Bournemouth, Leeds and Southampton. I support Chelsea, Eunice. Yeah, Rory, you're really hoping that. I just don't think Southampton are good. I just don't know where they're going to get points from. Honestly, I just don't. Same with Leeds. Bournemouth look good at the minute. I mean, Bournemouth look like they have something about them. I just can't see West Ham going down. I just can't see it. It's tough because Everton have Sean Dyche, and Dyche is the master at not getting relegated. It's really hard to call, but I would definitely say Leeds and Southampton will go down. They're two that I would almost lock in for relegation this season. Your play under 17's Aston Villa. I'm captain, best rated prospect, and scores 30. Well, keep it up. Hopefully you get to the Premier League. Keelan says one big club will get relegated. Going to be some cheap transfers. Imagine getting Rice for 60 million. No, can you imagine if like West Ham get relegated and then Rice just immediately says see you later folks and just heads off? Like, I wouldn't blame him, but at the same time that would be so funny. Eunice says teams that are getting relegated: Southampton, Bournemouth and hopefully Everton. Oh, Eunice supports Real Madrid. If I'm being honest, Eunice, when I saw that draw I was not happy, if I'm being honest. I mean, I am worried about facing yous. But I think that if we can somehow get out draw in the first leg, or even say lose with a goal difference of about 1, just being 1 behind, I think we'll go through. Because I think when you come to the bridge, we'll win that game. I was at the Chelsea Dortmund game and it was such a special game. I mean, the players and the fans were just so up for it. So I think if we have any chance of going through, we either have to draw the first game or lose by 1 goal in the first leg, and I think that's the only way we can get through. If Leeds get relegated, I like Liverpool get Tyler Adams, quality talent. Yeah, he is a talent. You know what's crazy? It's such a shame that Bamford's career has gone the way it has, because I still regard him as a good player, but injuries have just completely ruined his career. Like, completely ruined it, and now he's probably going to get relegated with Leeds. Like, I just think it's such a shame, because I actually think he had a lot of potential and talent prior to getting injured. Josh says Fantasy Football Fix best site for price change predictions. There's not too. I'll definitely have to check that out then. Brian says you could pick 6 clubs easily. That's true, Brian. I mean, we could have a completely different discussion about who's going to get relegated next week based on the results this week. Yeah, SofaScore are good. I use SofaScore quite a bit, to be fair. Yeah, I agree, Brian. Either Napoli or Benfica in the final. Although, I would maybe say Napoli or AC Milan, if I'm being honest. There is no better chant in world football than the Chelsea chant. I'm telling you that now. It sends goosebumps down the spine of even David Goggins would be scared of that chant. Yeah, the thing is, I would argue that Chelsea have had Madrid's number in recent years. I mean, that game at the Bernabeu was extremely painful, where we lost on aggregate and played so well. But I feel like we've you know, put up a really strong fight against Madrid and caused them a lot of problems recently. Benfica are class, and I actually hope I would love for it to be a Chelsea Benfica final, because Enzo returning to Benfica is huge, and obviously Todd Bowley and the Chelsea backroom staff going up against Rui Costa again after the transfer saga. I mean, it's just, there's so many storylines, especially for Chelsea, in this draw, because if they beat Madrid, then we've beat Madrid after facing them for the third time in a row in the Champions League, with Rudiger and etc. coming back to the bridge, Hazard coming back to the bridge. And then we either play Bayern Munich, who we beat in 2012 to win the Champions League for the first time in Bayern Munich's own backyard, or we play Man City, who we beat in the final in Porto. You know, so there's so many storylines everywhere. I really think this is going to be a good year for the Champions League. Yeah, I do. I do have Discord. I'm not sure if I do, but that's actually a good idea, you know, it's like getting somebody else on to chat. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to remember that and maybe have a look into that, because that's a good idea. Yeah, your big brother supports Chelsea. Good taste. Yeah, it's definitely something I'll consider, getting somebody in here to chat for a deadline stream. I think that's a good idea. I'm definitely going to consider that. Brian, I agree with you. Modric is a world-class talent. I mean, the man never edges. And Keelan says, what's your feelings with the Mount situation? If Mount doesn't want to sign the contract, he can leave. That's how I see it. I mean, I'm not really keen on keeping him, because I don't think he adds much value to the Chelsea team at the minute. I think we have a good enough squad without him. If we can get 50 to 60 million for him, I'd be happy for him to leave. I think he suits Liverpool because he's a road runner and he looks busy. And Klopp likes that type of player, you know. I think Mount's almost like a young Henderson in a way. You know, he is a good leader, I suppose you could say. But I just think for Chelsea, I just don't think Chelsea need to keep Mount, and I don't think Chelsea need to pay 250,000 a week in order to keep Mason Mount at the football club, and that's the way I see it. So that's my opinion on Mount. Rory says Benfica is such a traditional club with a really nice stadium, which would love to see them in the final. Yeah, I think that would be a great. I think if you know, for anybody like Napoli or AC Milan or Benfica in the final, I think that's great for any of those clubs, and it's a big occasion for them, you know, especially AC Milan and Istanbul yet again. Yeah, that's a good idea, Josh. I definitely consider that. Do I think Bellingham going to Real Madrid in the summer is the best decision? I'm not. It's hard because I don't like. I would, from a selfish point of view, as somebody who supports a team in the Premier League, I'd want Bellingham to come to the Premier League. But I don't know. It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. If you were asking me, do I think he'll go to Real Madrid? I don't think he will. I think it'll either be Liverpool or City that will go for him. I think Chelsea will be in the race, but I don't think Chelsea will get a signature. But I just can't see him going to Real Madrid. But this may be controversial, but I actually don't. I don't think. Well, no, I think Bellingham is world class, okay, in a certain way, but I also think he's overhyped. If you know what I mean. I think he is world class, but at the same time he's overhyped because he's English and because he's a young talent. That's just the way I see it, and people may disagree and people may think I'm crazy for that. Check his hard drive. Yeah, it was childish. My biggest regret is that Hazard went to Real Madrid. So sad. Like, what I would have done to have Hazard still in the Premier League. Can you imagine Hazard and Salah just cooking in the Premier League against each other? Like, that rivalry would have been historic. That would have been like the Messi Ronaldo rivalry of the flipping century. Like, it's such a shame. Would you take Eden Hazard for free? For free? Yeah, I'll take him. I would take him just for pure vibes. Honestly, I take him. I love Hazard, man. Such an iconic player. I can't believe the way his career panned out at Real Madrid. Like, it's such a shame. That's why, like, I don't know. Like, obviously you're a Real Madrid fan, but I feel like sometimes going to Real Madrid isn't the best option for players, because I think it's just such a tough situation for a lot of players. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the thing. Like with, well, growing up and whatever, I was always Barcelona, um, over Real Madrid. Although I'd probably be Real Madrid more than Barcelona now. But like I completely understand where he was coming from, wanting to play for Real Madrid, etc. Like, for I think for anybody that plays football or knows football or watches football, like playing for one of those iconic teams is just like a dream, no matter where you're from. Lucas Levy are retiring due to heart problems. God, so many players are flipping going down for heart problems. What do we think about Ronaldo, chat? Do we think he's finished? Is Messi the GOAT? Can we agree that Messi is the GOAT? Yeah, that's so true, Eunice. It's such a risk now, in my opinion. Like, it's just never guaranteed for you to do well. In my opinion, Messi is the GOAT and Ronaldo is finished. I think Ronaldo going to, where did he even go? Saudi Arabia or something? I just think, like, bro, I don't know. That's just an L in my opinion. That kind of made me lose respect for him, because, like, no offense to anybody that's from that area, but, like, in my opinion, that's just like a complete money grab. Like, he's just done that for money. Like, because why else would he go there? Like, realistically, it's Ronaldo. Why else would he go there? But, like, why is he going there if it's just for money anyway? Like, the man has more money than he'll ever need. Oh, well, I suppose I'm not surprised that the Real Madrid fan values Ronaldo over Messi. I mean, that's no surprise, so I understand that one. No, Rui Costa is not the GOAT. Todd Bowley is the GOAT. Todd Bowley owns Rui Costa. George Best is the GOAT. After this stream ends, you have to go check out George Best's best football moments, and then you'll realise who the real GOAT was. Even Pele called George Best the GOAT, so that's when you know. Yeah, like, the thing with Messi is, Messi did stuff on a football pitch where you just go like, how is that like, that's alien, it's not even real. Like, whereas with Ronaldo, I feel like he didn't do that as much, and it was more like, okay, I understand how you could do this with, like, obviously an amazing bit of skill, but also like hard work. Like, I think Ronaldo's a perfect example of like what hard work and skill and, you know, just continuous perfection can get you. But Messi is just like not human, like just pure alien. Like, I don't think people can replicate what Messi can do or has done, whereas I think that there could be another Ronaldo, in my opinion, which may sound crazy, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah, but Eunice, why would he go for why he doesn't need the money? So that's what I don't understand. Like, that's crazy money. Like, nobody needs that amount of money. Yeah, I don't agree with that Crystal Palace decision either. Like, why are you signing Patrick Vieira to bring in Roy Hodgson? Like, I swear the guy's like 90 years old. Yeah, if they have those Messi genetics, like, it's finished. Like, they're gonna be so talented. And, like, yeah, Messi's just like an alien in my opinion. Like, no football player has ever brought me like made me get out of my seat more than Messi has. Like, even like people like Drogba, etc. Like, my favorite players, like, nobody has done what Messi's done. Yeah, I would agree. CR7's not in my top 3 personally, but I think the whole CR7 Messi debate is like, there's a certain type of like group of people that like Ronaldo, and there's a certain type of group of people that like Messi. Like, you can just tell who the kind of who the Messi supporters and who the Ronaldo supporters are. Like, there's just something inherently in us from birth that we just either like Messi or Ronaldo. But it's going to be sad when they retire, man. The GOATs are going. What time is it? It's 10 past 7. Have to get something to eat. Have to get ready for the football. No, I actually went to the Borussia Dortmund Chelsea game for my birthday. That was my kind of birthday treat, I suppose, going to the Borussia Dortmund Chelsea game. And it paid off, thankfully, with a 2-0 win. It was such a great game. The atmosphere was amazing as well. Yeah, I agree, Keelan. There's not as many individuals anymore as there maybe once was. Why is Kim K and Saka trending on Twitter? Like, what is the world coming to? But yeah, I think that's going to do it. I won't stream tomorrow, Eunice. I usually, I only stream at the deadline, so I do. But I try and upload during the week at least one video, which is usually a team selection video. Although I do like to get a transfer tips video out, either on Monday or Tuesday. So we'll see if I manage to get that out this week. Appreciate that, Josh, and I'll make sure to pop into your stream when you're live, see what the crack is. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I appreciate all the likes. If you are in the stream, please do drop it a like before it ends. It helps me out a lot. Please do subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed the deadline stream, and hopefully I will see you in the next deadline stream, if not before, in one of my team selection videos. So appreciate everybody that stopped by. Everybody, good luck this game week. I hope everybody gets a green arrow and you have a great evening and a great weekend. Adios.